Hi, so are you looking to increase your followers? Make sure you subscribe to unlock my tweet.
Yo, you looking to increase the size of your egg roll?
Buy my merchandise, please! Looking to transition into another woman? Oh, God!
For Palestine!
So I'm taking that as a no!
Liberals against Trump! Donate to Bill!
Buy some shitty coffee and support my page!
Support Biden 2024!
Hey folks, hi, how you going? Welcome to the Commo John social media channel. Rated R, mature audiences only. No spivs, no grifters, no cucks, no pissants, and no fucking beta males. Out you go. Listen, I want to talk about February the 17th, okay? These protests that that have been sort of flagged, and I want to talk about Julian Assange. I want to cover a bit of ground in both those issues. Okay, remember folks, I'm not trying to convince you of things. I don't want you to join anything. I'm not part of anything, mate. Just me. It's just me, okay? I just want to engage in a conversation and give you my views, okay? Now, if I'm too confronting for you, or if you don't like what I'm saying, just switch me off. And I do understand that too. I'm not a great communicator. I'm not a social media influencer, and I don't want to be one, mate. I couldn't influence anyone, mate. Anyone. I mean, who listens to old communists? Fucking hell. Listen, February the 17th. Let's start in Brisbane. Okay, Tricky Tritty. Right? Okay, the big $300 perm boy. Fucking hell. He should shave his ass and walk backwards. Fucking ugly bastard. Listen, let's go. And remember, folks, Tricky Tritty, he's right in bed with all the Marxists. He wants to change the fucking Australia Day. He doesn't want 26th of January, mate. He is exposing himself big time, mate. He's in bed with all of these fucking lefty Marxist fucking grubs, mate. Okay? My message to you, Tricky, and all the fucking rest of you fucking Marxists, I don't give a fuck if you're an abo or not, mate, is get fucked. January the 26th, it stays. It stays. Worst thing we can do, Australia, worst thing you can do, mate, is give these fucking lefties 1 inch. 1 inch, mate. Give them nothing. Nothing, mate. Be totally uncompromising with them, mate. You give them 1 inch, mate, you watch. They'll come back and they will fucking rip your arm off. Let's talk about this protest. Look, I'll put at the, on the tag and on the end of this, I'll put it up and you can have a look. But have a look at what's being discussed. He's got, the Gaza Israeli-Palestinian war. He's got Julian Assange. He's got the central bank digital coin, etc. Right? Mate, I'm telling you, grifters, and this is what they do. They scan the landscape, mate. They've got their eyes and ears all over social media. They monitor it, mate, and they look for issues that a lot of people, right, have concerned about, right? They look for issues, right? And then what they do is they use that as the hook, right? And say, right, this is what we're protesting about, right? And then milk it for whatever it's worth. And when they've exhausted that, they then move on to other issues, right? And obviously, mate, Julian Assange, the stuff that's going in at Gaza, the central bank digital coin, etc. These are hot topics out there. Now, I've already made my position clear, and I've got a hell of a lot of other people with me, that President Trump is still the commander-in-chief. He's still the commander-in-chief, mate, and he is the rightful president, right? Okay, so I've discussed all of that. Okay, There is no threat from central bank digital coins. None. None whatsoever, right? President Trump's taken all the capabilities off the United States Federal Reserve. He's taken all of the issuing of money, right, okay, back under US Treasury, back under Steven Mnuchin, the Secretary of the Treasury, right, when he was still there. And they don't have any ability for any of this sort of stuff, all right? All right. Now, he's talking about the misinformation bill and all that. Listen, President, and I've done an upload and I've got fucking shitloads of feedback. People agree with me, right? Look, if President Trump's still in charge, then our government, mate, and if he's in charge of Treasury, right, the money printing, that means he owns our currency as well, right? It's all America. We're owned by America. We're registered on Securities and Exchange Commission. So, I just disregard any fear about a central bank digital coin. And in the same way, I disregard, any fear about a misinformation bill or anything else. I mean, that stuff is there to wake the normies up. It's just to wake the normies up. It's to put the fear of God into them. So they shit themselves and finally they wake up and take notice about what the fuck is going on. It's not meant for us. It's not meant for us, right? Okay? All of us, we all know about this stuff. We know what Trump has done, etc. But still, you're going to see Tricky and he's going to do it again, mate. Okay? He's going to milk it for all it's worth. But still, folks, despite the fact that there's now millions of us in this country and worldwide, mate, who are all aware of the danger our children are in from this predatory class of people, mate. Okay? They want to rape them. They want to sacrifice them to their satanic gods. They want to organ harvest them. And they can only do that while they're alive. They don't organ harvest when you're dead, mate. The organ has to come out while you're alive. And do other unspeakable fucking acts of criminality towards kids. Have a look what's on the agenda in Brisbane. None of that. No mention of that. Right now, right throughout social media, I mean, you've seen Guru and me and others, who've gone on air and spoken about children being snatched by law enforcement and these children's services on behalf of, pedophile fathers and child abusers and the courts, right? No mention of that, mate. None. They don't want you talking about this, folks, and they don't give a fuck about child safety. They don't. Now, I hope that's becoming clear to everyone out there, mate. I hope that's becoming clear. All right. Let's talk about Sydney. Now, no one in Sydney, by the looks of it, is doing any organising. And so it's gone back to the Aussie Cossack, who organised the last one down there. And you all know what happened there, mate. You all know. I mean, Craig Kelly and all these other fucking pissant politicians all got up there. Have a look at what he's got on the agenda for the Sydney protest, okay? It's a protest in support of Vladimir Putin and the Russian people. That's it. And it's at the Russian consulate in Sydney, Woollahra. Can you fucking believe it? Can you believe it, folks? Now, I'm on the public record, mate, about my support of Vladimir Putin and the Russian military and the Russian people. Don't ever misunderstand me about that. But in an International Day of Freedom, okay, we're fucking going to go and protest about Vladimir Putin's freedom. Nothing Australian. Nothing. It's got nothing to do, February the 17th in Sydney, about our country, our sovereignty, our problems. Nothing. I mean, have you looked at fucking Cossack's social media posts? The hundreds of posts that he's done in the last fucking 6 months, 12 months. There's all but nothing about Australia. Nothing. It's all about the Ukrainian war. It's all about, Russia, Vladimir Putin, all that sort of stuff. Zero about Australia. I mean, he's got a flick here and a bit there, Anthony Albanese sends tanks or Humvees or Bushmasters over there. I mean, he'll post about that, but nothing else. The Cossack rode in off our backs in the freedom movement, mate. Okay, he was a tire kicker journalist, mate. A tire kicker journalist. A serial pest to the cops, to the councils, and to authority general speaking. He was funny, it was entertaining, and it was driving the cops and the councils and that mad. I mean, I used to piss myself laughing, But as soon as he's, got his little spot and he's a big social media influencer, nothing, mate. Zero. He doesn't give a fuck about this country, mate. He does not give a fuck. And whenever there has been big protests, like in Canberra or down in Melbourne, mate, he brings along some cartons of beer. He laughs at us. He laughs at us. Give the fucking Aussies some beer. That'll shut them up. Man, oh man, oh man. Again, nothing about child safety. Nothing. I mean, Vladimir Putin, mate, he knows, Comrade Vad knows what they're doing to children in Ukraine, mate. And he's saving heaps of them. My heartfelt thanks to you, Comrade Vlad, and to the Russian military and your sacrifices. And to the Russian people, mate, I love you. I mean, I always have. As an old communist, I always loved the Russian people. I love their folk music, mate. They're hard drinking, hard playing, tough people. But you're not going to get Cossack, mate, to publicise anything or to investigate anything to do with the safety of children. In fact, you're not going to get him to do anything about the safety of Australia. He doesn't give a fuck. He just doesn't give a fuck, mate. He rode into all of this notoriety off our blood, sweat, and tears and our sacrifices now that he's got the job. You know the old story, mate. The working class can kiss my ass. I've got the boss's job at last. I mean, I've seen these fucking frauds all my life. I'm an old communist, mate. I was fucking hardwired, mate, never to forget my people. Never forget where I come from. I can't. I'm 64. I'm fucked. I'm who I am, mate. But Cossack, mate, Cossack, he doesn't give a fuck about it. He used Ricardo Bossi. He used Bossi. Bossi, when the Ukraine war was on and they had some protest in support of Russia. Rightly so. That it was the right thing to do to support Russia, and I still support Russia, right? But he made sure, come on, Rick. Rick went up there, and rightly so. Rick fucking supported it publicly. He used Rick, and he used all of us, mate, to get where he was going. Now that he's there, you work it out. All I know is this, mate. Have a look at what he was doing, tire kicking, pissing the cops off, pissing off the council, serial pest. If you were to give Commo John diplomatic immunity, if I had that option up my sleeve, and he had it all the time, he knew that if things got too hot, mate, he could just drive to Wallara, mate, and go in there, mate, and have a studio and, free meals. I mean, fucking good accommodation. You know what I mean? Okay, you've got to stay on the campus, but, I mean, I've done 5.5 years locked away in the most fucking evil children's institution in this country. I'd rather be locked away in the Russian consulate, mate, than fucking be locked away in a cell. And that's what they were going to do to me. 2 years, mate. That was the risk I took on behalf of The Australian working class. I took these risks. Jesus, I was lucky to get out of that. He risked nothing, mate. He risked nothing. Nothing. He had that card up his sleeve all the time. But all I know, if I had diplomatic fucking, immunity, fucking hell, mate, I wouldn't have been running around kicking tyres, mate. I'd have been fucking kicking heads in. Anyway, no children's safety, nothing. But let's go down there for cheer Vlad on. Let's move on to Julian Assange, okay? Let's move on to Julian Assange. Look, there's a doco film about Julian, okay? It's been shown up here in Brisbane, okay? And Tricky Tritty is the master of ceremonies. And they got another showing on, and Tricky's the master of ceremonies. And after the movie, right, then they have a Q&A. And guess who's going to be up there on the Q&A? Dave O'Neiggs. You know, the pissant that shut his chat channel down? Remember that fucking pissant? He's up there doing the Q&A. Mate, I told you before, listen. We have been burning these fake frauds, mate. Okay, now we've been burning Hoodie for all of the cover-up and lies about chemtrails, okay? And, mate, it was hurting him. It was exposing him as being a fraud. And the Freemasons, right, and his mates, right, okay, had to close that off. They had to protect his flanks because he was fully exposed. And they knew eventually we were going to expose him for what he is. I mean, I don't even know what the fuck he's doing. He's out there fucking building some church, a Graham Hood church, and charging people for baptisms. I mean, that's all we fucking need in this war, mate, is another fucking church. Another one. That's going to help. That's all we need in this fucking war is another religious guru. Fucking hell, mate. Who, again, milking it for everything he's worth, mate. So they had to close that off, mate, and they got Dane Wigington in, right? Dane, I think, is a genuine dude, mate, and he's got great research, mate. Fantastic research. And but they got Dane Wigington in, mate, to do this interview, and that is to give him some street cred because we were exposing him. Now, let's move on to Tricky and Onyx, right? Now, at the same time, we've been exposing fucking Tricky and Hoodie with chemtrails. We've been exposing Tricky and Onyx as being fakes and frauds, mate, okay? Now, they desperately needed to close that off, mate. They desperately needed to close that off and give themselves some street credibility, okay? So whoever has organised this doco, right? And I haven't seen the doco, and I'm not criticising it, but I'll tell you what, I'm now very, very suspicious of those people, mate, who've organised all this to get Tricky Tritty and Dave O'Neiggs in as their public face. Okay. Now it may well be the case that they just want the numbers. They just want, the exposure, right? And they don't really understand that both these pissants are frauds. That may well be the case, okay? But what if it's not? I don't know. We'll see. But both Tricky and Onyx desperately needed street credibility, okay? Desperately needed it. And that's why, I mean, look, what knowledge, what relationship, what has Tricky or Onyx got when it comes to Assange? What can they contribute? I'm asking, seriously, I'm asking. What do they know, or what's their expertise or insights? Anything. I mean, they've never put anything up for public discussion. They've never posted stuff about it. I mean, they've never interviewed over it. They've never, they've done nothing. But all of a sudden, they are the fucking public face. But there's an interesting thing, mate. There's an interesting thing on Tricky's post advertising this doco film, and I want to read it to you and then discuss it. I've got to look on a couple of screens, so bear with me, folks, and let me see if I can find it, and I want to read it to you. Sorry about that, everyone. I can't read it to you without shutting down the camera. So I'm going to post it. I'll put it at the end of this upload, and you can have a read yourself. But let me explain to you. Look, it goes on the post. This is when it's on. This is where it's on, and this is the MC, Tricky. And following the doco, we're going to have a Q&A, and Dave Oneggs is going to be there, right? And he's going to answer questions. You got me? Okay. But then it goes on. It says this. He said, look, for those people who, who want to know, right, the pose that Julian Assange is in for the doco, which is this, okay, is a pose for when it's a trust pose. Like you close your eyes, put your hands out and fall backwards into somebody's arms, okay? It's a trust pose, okay? It's not. And Tricky then goes down. He says, does that make sense? He said, what doesn't make sense, right, is for people to go yapping that Julian Assange is a Freemason and belongs to some satanic cult. And he finishes it off by saying, no wonder, people in this movement, they're crazy, they're mad, people who say this and believe this. Now you read it, and I'll put it at the end of it. I'll cut it out and just do that as one slide. Freeze it and read it. Now who was that aimed at? Rick Bosey. Rick Bosey. That's who it was aimed at. I mean, you tell me, everyone out there, apart from Thomas Sewell, from the Australian National Socialist, mate, who wants Assange to be dealt with, right? And we know what that means. Kill him. Kill him. He may not have meant it, but that's what it means, right? Apart from him, no one that I've spoken to in this freedom movement, mate, has ever said a bad word about Julian Assange. And no one has ever accused Julian Assange of being a Freemason or in some satanic cult. Why would you say that? Why? Eh? It was aimed at fucking Rick Bosey, mate. He's got these bastards fucking worried, mate. It was aimed at him. And again, the smear is that he's a lunatic, doesn't know what he's talking about. And de facto, all of us. If you're out there, folks, if you're out there and you believe the Freemasons have got hold of all of our institutions and are as corrupt as all fuck, and that they're involved in some unspeakable crimes against children, if you're out there and you believe, I do, I'm one of those. I'm one of those who, and again, I'm not an A1 person, mate. I keep saying this. I've got to keep reminding, I'm not an A1 person, and I'm not a Rick Bosey fucking operative. I'm not. I'm Como John. That's it. Who is in full agreement with Rick Bosey. Full agreement. They're smearing us, mate. They're smearing us. You mentioned Freemasonry. You mentioned satanic cults, mate. You are being called crazy, insane by these so-called freedom movement leaders. You understand? Now, Craig Kelly started it. He started it on Twitter, smeared Bosey, You know, someone get him to a doctor. He needs drugs. Then Dave Onix followed it up, reposted, you know, Craig Kelly's fucking comments, you know, his post, and then put one up of his own, and then shut his chat room down. It was getting too hot in the fucking kitchen for him, mate. And mate, he was being, his numbers on his social media channel is plummeting. I think he's lost 20 odd thousand fucking subscribers in the last 12 months, 18 months. We've been exposing him. He's a grifter. A useful idiot, mate, for the Freemasons and for the other grubs. Now they're coming out, mate. Now, why would you put that in? Why? It was targeted towards Bosey and anyone that has any support for Bosey, mate. This is the game plan, folks. This is the game plan. 2024, mate, we are now, the rubber is going to hit the road. Exposures are going to go on everywhere. Now, eventually, the truth about Freemasons, satanic cults, the children, it's all going to come out. It will overwhelm these fucking gatekeepers. It will overwhelm them. And they're not going to be able to fucking do anything about it. I've just done a post, right, where 60 Minutes has aired a program about Jeffrey Epstein. None of these fucking bastards, Hoodie, Onyx, Tricky, any of them give a fuck about kids, mate. They're trying to divert. This is a Freemason diversion tactic, right? Again, folks, you don't have to like me, but I am professionally trained in this stuff. I've been doing this all my fucking life. All my life. The only secret society that the Freemasons were terrified of were the communists. I mean, we were the most secret society of them all. And I was one of the dudes in there. I'm the last of the Mohicans, mate. I pass on my life's experiences, my life's learnings to you. It's not about whether we like each other, folks. It's the truth. It's the truth, mate. They, Tricky, and Onyx desperately need street credibility. And they're gonna leverage off the Julian Assange doco to get that street credibility, so they can go out. You know the old saying, "You are guilty by association," right? Even though you're innocent, you hang around with criminals. Everyone thinks you're a criminal. Remember that saying? Well, it's the same when you're trying to get street cred. You might be a fraud, you might be a deceiver, but if you hang around people who have got lots and lots of reputation and street cred, well, other people look at you and go, "Oh, well, you know, he must be okay because he's hanging around with these people." That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to leverage off our brother Julian Assange, mate. They don't give a fuck about Julian Assange, mate. They don't give a fuck. This is all about street cred, folks. And then right at the end of it, mate, let's use Julian Assange and put the boot into Ricardo Bossi. Not by name. Look, they have professional tacticians working with them, mate. He's too stupid to do this, Tricky. I'm telling you, he's too fucking stupid, mate. This is the deep state, mate. This is the deep state behind it. They all want to appear to be acting independently. Again, go and read the protocols of the elders of Zion. We will operate above their sphere of knowledge. We will act as one, but appear to be acting individually, right? This is a fucking coordinated effort to take Bosey down, mate. He's got them worried. He's got them fucking worried, mate. And they can't take him down unless we, the public out there, right, okay, believe that they are credible people. If we don't believe they're credible people, mate, then no one's going to listen to them. No one. You know, we'll say, they're fucking idiots, mate. Now, they've already run. Tricky's already destroyed the protest movement here in Brisbane, mate. We've gone from 60, 70,000 down to 1,500, you know. And throughout it all, not once has he ever put child safety. Never, won't discuss it. Doesn't happen. Now, you talk about Freemasonry, you're crazy. You're crazy. That's what this is about, folks. So we got that fucking grub in Sydney, Cossack, who rode in off our backs, all of us, mate. It's our blood, sweat, and tears, mate, and sacrifice, which has saturated the Australian continent. Ours. Buckets of it, mate. We have fucking suffered. And we've reorganised and fought back. But it's ours. They've ridden in off our backs. And now they're trying to cash in. And the one bloke that's outflanked them, he's outflanked them. They tried to shut him down on social media, all in Australia. They've done that. They tried. But Rick, I think, being an ex-SAS soldier, mate, and understanding, tactics, right, has built a huge international audience, which has then come back into Australia, right? Because a lot of Australians are watching the international alt media people as well. They're not just looking at the Australian alt media people. They're looking at everything globally. Now, Rick outflanked them. And that fucked them. That has fucked them, mate. Good work, brother Rick. Good work, comrade. You're not just a handsome fucking cunt, mate. You're a fucking smart cookie as well. I've told you all before, mate, don't laugh. Don't ever laugh and ridicule our officers that come out of the Royal Military College Duntroon. Don't ever do that, folks. I'm telling you. We've produced some fucking very, very fine officers, mate, in our military. I mean, we know there's a lot of fucking grubs up, Freemason grubs in it, but we've produced some brilliant, brilliant officers, mate. And I salute them. I salute them. There's only one thing fucking worse and more dangerous than laughing at our military officers from the Royal Military College Duntroon. There's only one thing more dangerous. And that's laughing at old communists, mate. We love it. We fucking love it when people call us crazy, mate. But folks, I hope you can see these things, mate. I hope I'm giving you my perspective. Again, I don't want you to join anything. I don't vote for me. All that stuff, mate. Not interested. Not interested. Our only protection, my only way to attain my freedom is if you get your freedom. Now, if I could get it without you, mate, I'd do it. And fuck yes. I'd go and do it, mate, but I can't. I can't. I'm stuck with you. And you are stuck with me. Good old folks.